Hey, what's going on, Tamers? It's East, and I want to let you know right off the bat, it is a miracle that I'm here right now. No, I didn't have some near-death experience or anything traumatic happen to me recently or anything like that. It's just that BT19 Xros Evolution released here in Japan last week, and you cannot tear me away from deck building right now. It's so fun. This has been one of the most interesting sets released in quite a while, with new meaningful support for things like sea animals and the aqua decks. You've got crazy new cards like Trinity Burst, which I think have the potential to reinvent how we play and build Gallantmon and Terriermon decks, as well as the rest of the cards for the long-awaited decks like Royal Base. Personally, I think there's a lot to be excited about for this new set, and I hope that after looking at the first week's results, you'll feel the same sentiment as well. That being said, let's take a look at the event results, a couple of key takeaways, and a close look at some of the decks that topped over the course of the past week. No disrespect to you folks out there in YouTube land, but I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm trying to finish this recording as soon as possible so I can get back to my deck creations. BT19 feels like a deck builder's paradise. People are cooking outside of their predefined guardrails for their deck's normal cards, and it's paying off in spades. The kickoff of BT19 also featured a release weekend tournament where winners and participants could receive alt arts of the EX1 secret rare Machine Dramon card. Pretty slick looking art too, not gonna lie. And because of that, with folks gunning for prizes, lots of them went with some of the tried and true decks from the past in order to win. But even with those sweats out in full force, a lot of the new decks emerged as potential contenders for the set. You've got things like Beelzemon. Does he actually count? I mean, technically that was a deck in the past, but yeah, you know, Beelzemon, Xros Heart, LordKnightmon, Millenniummon, Twilight Blue Flare, and more. You've also got lots of old decks that receive new support represented on this list as well. Things like Royal Knights, D-Reapers, everyone's favorite right now, Mother Control in the West. I tried to tell y'all. Anyway, Sea Animals, Sakyamon, and more. Quick soapbox moment. I've been hit by some of the nastiest stuff this past week. Mirage Galgamon with the Ryugamon at the top end, Diaboromon that just has Millenniummon at the top end to take advantage of the tokens to get the overclock, things like Sakyamon that runs Ruin Mode at the top end to loop him over and over again. It's been hell, but it's been so fun. If you've been watching this channel for a while, then you know that the first week of any new set is a bit like a spaghetti western. Things a little bit chaotic, a little bit all over the place. So don't forget to subscribe to see how the landscape evolves week over week, and for more digital monster gaming content added directly to your YouTube feed. So this being a Xros Heart set, I cannot not show you a Xros Heart deck week 1 that topped. And so this is going to be the one we're going to show off here with a bit of a twist at the top end. While the lower end looks pretty similar to the new Xros Heart deck that used some of the level 4s and level 5s and things like the Dorurumon and Jaeger Dorurumon, and then the Ballistamon and the Atla Ballistamon, the top end with the Leopardmons here really makes the deck interesting. The crux of the deck is that whenever you play your Dorurumon or Ballistamon level 4s, you can evolve them immediately into the level 5 Jaeger Dorurumon or Atla Ballistamon under one of your tamers and sources, and you can do that for free. So you can get to your level 5 for the cost of a level 4. From there, you can just evolve into your Leopardmon or Leopardmon X to go wide and play more green Digimon. In addition, you have access to immediate offense with things like Shoutmon plus Doruru Cannon off of one of your level 3 Shoutmons, and because all the Shoutmons have Rush and Inheritance, that Doruru Cannon can attack immediately. Also, not a bad bit of removal as well, especially with some of those pesky floodgates running around right now. And on defense, you've got some great options here. Things like the Cherubimon Ace, who takes advantage of your wide boards, and also lets you play more Digimon to make a board even wider, and also to get huge DP minus effects. And while we're on the subject of defense, the level 5 Jaeger Dorurumon and Atla Ballistamon also have some great defensive effects themselves. Atla Ballistamon like bust up your Digimon and you can't be bounced to bottom deck or to hand, and then the Jaeger Dorurumon can prevent your opponent's Digimons from using their own evolve effects. A very powerful effect indeed. I played the base version of the new Xros Heart deck this week at my locals, and I had a great time doing it. It feels quite strong, but I think there's a lot of potential with the free evolves from the colors red, yellow, and green in this deck, and so it's cool to see people thinking outside of the box and it paying off. Beelzemon is back. Much to my chagrin, by the way. This deck was a monster in its heyday, and only after getting limited did it start to even slightly fall off. But with the new support from BT19, it might be back up. Most of this deck is going to look really familiar to its previous iterations outside of some of the new tamers, options, level 3s, and level 7s. And the game plan is still exactly the same. You're going to mill cards from your deck directly to your trash, and off of that you're going to get a ton of effects like bonus extra memory, as well as the ability to grab cards you need from the trash, and then power up your level 6s and level 7s. The new BT19 is some upgraded generic support for the deck, letting you play any purple tamer if you have one or less tamers in play. And speaking of tamers, the new Ai and Mako tamer gives you memory as well as lets you warp any Impmon into a Beelzemon, provided your trash has 20 or more cards in it. which for this deck is a really low bar, to be honest. And the new purple option card, Bonds of True Love, is like a retrained scramble, allowing you to mill 2 cards if you play it, and then later on delay you can just play an Impmon for free at the start of your turn, if your board is empty, by the way. And the best part is, you can just place that card in the battle area to use the delay effect later if it's milled from the deck to the trash. In the past, you could sometimes mill cards from the deck to the trash so quickly that you ended up decking yourself out, flying a little bit too close to the sun. But now with the new level 7 Beelzemon Blast Mode Ace card, you can give yourself a second lease on life. This guy allows you to put 10 cards from your trash back into the deck and also make your opponent lose a security at the same time. Jesus, I'm just looking at the deck right now, and man, all this free memory, they can play Impmons and Warp for almost nothing, and now they can like basically get like a extra life, get 10 cards into the trash, and I lose another security. This deck is wild, man. This is a menace. All the results, I'm worried. I'm actually worried about this deck now. Please, God, don't make this be at my locals. Oh, Lord. Jesus. I'm getting like PTSD as I look at this list one more time. I remember the old days. I sit down, they mill their deck and kill me, and I said, oh, great times. Great times. Whew. I'm in for a treat when I fight this again. Each week, I allow my champion level and higher YouTube members to vote on decks they'd like to see featured in these meta report videos. And this week, they voted overwhelmingly to see LordKnight. If you'd like to vote on decks that you want to see covered in these videos, as well as some other cool perks and bonuses, become a YouTube member today. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to all the folks who do support the channel. I really, truly do appreciate it. And with that, let's take a look at LordKnight. Oh, good God, that is rough to look at. Hold on. Let's go ahead and fix this one up. That's better. Alright, let's take a look here. Let's actually get to work. So in BT18, Bandai introduced the idea of a Knightmon tribal deck where you can combine cards from LordKnight and Dark Knightmon decks to make one coherent, weird Arca type chimera thing. You get the idea. But the currently most popular build of LordKnight, which did receive new cards in BT19, completely tosses that out the window for the Dark Animal engine as a way to power the deck. From the top, the new LordKnight X Antibody is the star of the show, with the nice 1-2 punch of collision and piercing. In addition, he can prevent ace card counterplay by de-digivolving your opponent's Digimon and then preventing them from evolving for a single turn. If that wasn't enough, he also has this crazy blanket effect for all Knightmon named cards that gives them all Alliance plus 3000 DP. And then outside of that, the deck doesn't really use any other Knightmon type cards. LordKnight really is the only one. Speaking of, the new regular LordKnight from the BT19 set lets you play level 4 from trash, and with the combination of him and the Cerberusmon and Cerberusmon X, you can play level 3s from trash as well and give them rush. With these two effects and knowing why Anubismon got limited in the past, I think you can see how things get out of hand very quickly. Speaking of, Anubismon jump scare in here as well. The deck also combines resource with removal with things like the Dobermon X to get retaliation, cycle cards, along with the Goblimon to gain memory later when you play Digimon by effects using the level 6s. There's also some cool little touches from the new BT19 set where they've added in 2 of the Deltamon that lets you delete a Digimon that's level 4 or lower on play, on evolve, and on deletion if you discard a card. And then on the top end, they've got that level 7 Beelzemon Blast Mode Ace as a cheeky little counterplay and maybe some more security destruction at the same time. So the combination of LordKnight and his loyal canines really makes it feel like dogs are a man's best friend. With that, we're going to wrap up the first week of events for the BT19 Xros Evolution set released over here in Japan and the rest of Asia. I can't waste anybody's time. I gotta get out of here. I have so many ideas buzzing in my head right now. I gotta go deck build. Like Trinity Burst with EX3 War Growlmon who played a Guillemon who has Rush with the EX3 Growlmon and Inheritance. Trinity Burst lets you rest both of the tokens. You can get Sec +1 for both of them. Then you can eat one of them with the Growlmon's Inheritance effect to get Sec +1 as well. That's 4 checks, and then you use the 2 new Tamers to warp the Guillemon into a Gallantmon. He swings, and you can take off a security with the BT12 Gallantmon and then hit security. I think that's an OTK, right? Am I tripping? All right, I gotta go. Bye. Take care, Tamers.